It's time for Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here is your host, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
As I was walking down the street one day.
Welcome in on a wonderful Wednesday. Sunshine. I thought it was supposed to rain all day. What happened? Not that I'm complaining, but I thought Thursday and Friday, beautiful sunshine, a little cooler, rain all day today. It was like 90%. Ron Childers, you've let me down. What the heck? Or my phone has.
We were saved by that 10%.
I guess that's what it is. That's what they can always say. Grizz go for number 11 in a row tonight against Cleveland. Is Donovan Mitchell playing?
I don't believe he is.
Wow.
But whenever he doesn't play, though, Garland tends to step up. It gets more shots, more volume shooter, and he's a dangerous guy right there. But the Grizzlies have really good perimeter defenders, too.
Wait. Which would you rather, him play or not play?
Oh, if I'm a Grizzlies fan, I'm glad he's not playing for his scoring output.
Absolutely.
But personally, I'm a Garland guy, so I'm always more for Garland, more volume shooting.
Let's see. What are the Grizzlies favored by in this game?
I think I saw 7.
7.5.
Okay, that's right.
7.5. I wonder if that is with knowledge. Probably is that Donovan Mitchell's not going to play. So if they get to 11 wins, that would equal the franchise record which they got to last year. One thing, I don't know, is it fool's gold? They got to keep pace with Denver. Denver won again last night.
They did.
So they got to win tonight to keep pace with Denver. This is fun.
Well, then if Denver wins tonight too, then they're another game ahead. I know. It's crazy.
Well, here's the thing: is that they have definitely got a gap now, about 5 games between those two teams and the third place team, which is the Pelicans. They're 5 games back now of the leader. So you know, if you're 1 or 2, does it really matter?
Not real. It really doesn't. I mean, I guess
it would matter for the Western Conference Championship if those 2 teams were to advance to the championship game.
Well, and there could be a big difference in playing the 3 seed and the 4 seed too, if all those teams presumably win those games.
Yeah, but then it all comes down to matchups anyway.
That's right.
Who knows? So I don't want to say it's fool's gold. I really don't. But this 10-game winning streak, how many teams that the Grizzlies have beaten have over 500 records? Quick guess.
I don't know. It has to be a good amount, though, right?
2.
You're kidding? Oh, on this winning streak.
On this winning streak, this 10-game winning streak, only Sacramento and New Orleans are the only teams they have beaten in this streak that are over 500 teams.
I think the Mavericks recently had a 9-game winning streak that was similar to that. It was like the Rockets 2 or 3 times or something. So similar things, but regardless, it's still some of those games are on the road too, and those are tough to win as well.
So here you go, though. This is the test is coming, because after this game tonight, let's hope they win it. That's 11. It ties it. They go to L.A. and they take on LeBron on Friday. That is the beginning of 5 games in 8 days. You've got the Lakers, then you got a rematch at Phoenix, and you know they're going to be absolutely waiting on you. Now, I don't know if Booker or Irving, I know Cameron Johnson's going to be back, but I don't know if Irving Irving or Booker will be.
And if one of those isn't, if Cameron Payne could be back, because they're 2 point guards right now,
right
between those 2 guys.
Right.
That's crazy.
Then you've got Sacramento there. They're all there. It's a 5-game, 8-day trip. Sacramento, then Golden State, which embarrassed you on Christmas Day. Then Minnesota, which is a team that you have a great rivalry with thanks to the playoffs last year. You're not going to win all 5 of those. Let's be honest. The streak is coming to an end at some point. I hope it gets to 12. That'd be great. I hope it gets all the way. But if we're being realistic, this trip, 5 games, 8 days, what's a successful road trip here?
3-2.
I agree. 100%. You go 3-2 on that trip, you are sitting absolutely pretty. No doubt about it. I don't know that – I think he's getting there, but I don't know that Taylor Jenkins gets enough credit. Say that again?
I agree 100%.
Okay. So let me ask you this. How many years is this? His fourth year or fifth year? Whatever it is, he has coached 50 games in the month of January in his career.
Fourth year.
Fourth year. Okay. How many games do you think he's won? In the month of January.
It just in January alone?
Yeah, just in January.
30 days in January, fourth year. I would say
I'm telling you, he's coached 50 games. How many
35.
of the 50? 39.
Really?
If I did the math correctly on that, that is 78% winning. You win 78 out of 100 games.
As the season starts to ramp up there, too, in January.
Right, absolutely. You know, I think I've always thought like January was their doldrums, like July in baseball, where you're just at the halfway point, and in basketball, the All-Star game like begins the last stretch, right? So between the halfway point and the All-Star game, to me, that's the stretch because the end's not in sight. There's so many games, like 5 and 8 days. You know, are you as motivated as you were? Because now it's really hard, and a lot of the times teams are out of it. Like, we know the Detroit Pistons are not going to be in the playoffs, right? We know the Houston Rockets are not going to be in the playoffs. So there's no motivation on either side of those games to really play. I think it's the hardest part. So we'll see what happens. This is a true test. Do you know that today has significance?
I don't know that. What is today?
Other
than the 18th of January.
How about if I give you it involves college football?
It's the recruiting period begins. Signing period begins.
Close. You're on the right track, but it's the opposite of what you're thinking.
Dead period begins.
Today is the day that the transfer portal closes.
Wow.
It's over until May. Now, I must admit, there is sense to me, believe it or not, there is sense to at least having parameters. Things are going to be open here. Get your thing done. And it's fair, in my opinion, to players, maybe not coaches, that there is another portal. You know when the next portal is?
When?
It's right after spring. It is May. It might be like May 1 to May 15, a 2-week period. Right after the spring camps have closed. So you played, you went through your 20 days, then you played your spring game. If you're a player, you've lined up pretty much. There's going to be some freshmen coming in, but you've pretty well lined up with the guys that you know you're up against for positions. And if you don't think you can cut it, or you don't like your position coach after being with him for a while now, because let's face it, there are some new coaches out there that have already come in and that are a part of spring. I think it's fair to the player to say, okay, this isn't right for you. Now we're in this new era of player rights. I'm going to go choose a place that I think is a better fit for me. I'm okay with that. But now we got parameters. So we've got this sort of winter after the season is over, after the bowl season's over. We know we have this big window of where we're going to go. Now you got one more chance to see if you all fit with new coaches, new teammates that have come over. You got spring. And then you got your 2-week period to make your decision. And then you're pretty well set, I think, until the next winter when it all opens again. That is fair to the player, and I think there is some fairness to the coach. The one after spring is tough. But after that, now you've got your roster. It's set.
When it seems like, based on what you said yesterday, too, with how well the Tigers are doing in the transfer portal right now, and one thing that struck me was that pretty much all of the Tigers' transfers happened after the bowl game, whereas a lot of schools, those happened after their regular season ended, between the regular season and the bowl game. It seems to me as those transfers maybe started to come on visits on campus, the players were able to see the writing on the walls in that case and go do their other things as they saw fit as well. So I agree with you. It is fair to the players, and they get a fair picture of what they're about to have.
So the Tigers got another player today, by the way. Toledo's, which were the MAC champions, their number 2 receiver is a guy named Demir Blankumsey. I hope that's how you pronounce it. I'll know by the time the spring game comes.
If you can pronounce Ko, you can pronounce this guy's name.
I've got Ko Dirci Akabundo Yegu down. But you know what I do with that. I only say, and he tells me I should roll the R, so I didn't do that time. Ko Dirci Akabundo Yegu. I only say that the first time he comes in or he's in the starting lineup. After that, I say KO. Because it's too much to say that if he grabs a rebound. Well, he doesn't grab rebounds, does he? When he gets the ball.
You're going to get a call from Kevin Harlan or Jim Nance come tournament time asking you exactly how you should handle this name.
Yeah. You know what you know what you have to do? Yeah, how I learned to say it? This is the truth. Our producer, Danny O'Brien, we do a thing with starting lineups. We let them say their name. So he says it. So I just listened to him say it, and then I mimicked it.
So using your ear rather than your eyes.
He told me when I was when I had him on for the first time. He's really a delightful kid. I said, "Here's how I say the name." He goes, "Well, you're not rolling the R." Dirci. Ko Dirci. Still don't do that very well, do I?
Well, it's tough when you're in the middle of a basketball game, action's happening. You only need to say it the once, then KO's fine.
Anyway, he's got to get rebounds. That's what he's got to do, and that happens tomorrow. He'll be in the starting lineup against Wichita State. There will still, I don't think, be the presence of 3 key players. There will not be Malcolm Dandridge, although maybe he's ready for Cincinnati. You'll really need him there on Sunday. There will not be Alo. I don't think you're going to see Alo for 2 to 3 more weeks. And unfortunately, there will not be Jaden Hardaway. I think he will definitely be ready for Cincinnati. So you're still playing with 8 scholarship guys. Hey, I got a question for you, Mr. Analytics. Although you're really not Mr. Analytics. There's a lot more old school to you.
There is.
But you do look at the analytics. So I looked at the net today, just trying to figure this out. And I was actually inspired by Brett Norsworthy, who talked with me about it yesterday, and Stats is going to be with us in studio here in the next segment. So Houston has the number 1 net in the country. Then UCF is 44. The Tigers are 46 after the win. They actually went up. They beat a 156 team. It was on the road and moved up 4 spots, which is pretty good. I didn't expect that. Cincinnati is 83. Tulane, even with the loss to Houston, which was pretty dominant, by the way. Houston clearly
beat them by 20, right?
Yeah, 80
That's
to
crazy.
60. It was close for about the first 12, 13 minutes of the game. After that, sayonara. But Tulane's 100. So that means the American this year has 5 top 100 teams and 3 top 46 teams. And Cincinnati at 83, if you beat Cincinnati and they win a couple of games down the way, that could end up being, all you got to do is move to 75 to make it a quad 1 win. That could move up. You beat UCF at home at this point. They didn't drop that far after losing to Tulane. They're at 44. That could become a quad 1 win. There are many more opportunities this year for Memphis to get some quality wins. We were also worried, there's no quality wins left. But that's really not true. You look at it, so you got 5 top 100 teams. So with a road win, that top 100 is a quad 2 win. That's not a bad win, okay? Wichita State is at 142, so you can't mess with them tomorrow. You got to win that game at home for sure. Can't lose that. And then, unfortunately, at the bottom, you've got SMU, ECU, and Tulsa. They are killing the American because their net numbers are 214, 215, and 290. I can't remember a conference team being as low as 290. Not in the American. I can't remember that at all. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't remember that at all. And I don't remember 5 teams in the top 100 in the net in the American either. I mean, I think you got to go back. I don't know if it's CUSA. Maybe the Great Midwest Conference did.
Or the last Big East year, or first American year, however
It
you would call that.
Yeah, it was the only Big East year.
However you would describe that. But they had some good teams in that league
Yeah,
that year.
that would probably be the last time that you would have that many near the top of, because they didn't even have net rankings then.
No, they didn't.
Then it was Sagarin and Ken Palm.
RPI.
And RPI, right. RPI, that was it. RPI and Sagarin really were the 2 dominant analytic barometers. So, anyway, I think looking at that, now you got to, Memphis has to win pretty much all their home games. Maybe they could lose to Houston. They got to win every home game to get revenge on Tulane, to at least split with them and UCF, because those are 2 road losses. Temple will not be a bad home win if they knock them off again, and they should be favored to do that. And, of course, you can't lose even to Tulsa on the road. Not with a 290 Tulsa. Man, I sit back there, and I actually asked Frank Haith. And Frank is such a gentleman, I got to tell you. Because he could have laid it on about, what a mistake it was letting me go, see what's happening to them now, right? He didn't say that. He said, Dave, you really don't understand until you're there how hard a job that is, because they don't wiggle their academic standards. You know, they're the smallest, I think they're the second smallest Division I football school. Rice is the smallest, so both the 2 smallest Division I football schools are going to be in the New American next year. And they're, I think their average ACT at Tulsa, people don't realize what an academic institution it is. Their average ACT is over 30. Their class size, their ratio to teachers is like 7-1 or 6-1. It's crazy.
Right at 30. Yeah, that's crazy. Compared to the schools.
What's crazy is that you could find that so quickly.
Compared to the schools
and
in
that
their
you didn't
league.
trust me and believe my stats.
I'm the analytics guy. I got to back it up.
Right. Well, that's pretty quick. You got that fast.
But they have to. The fact that they're compared, not to diminish the other schools in the league, but comparatively to the other schools in the league, that's a tough academic standard to have to fight against when you're competing in Division I athletics.
Oh, it's crazy, and they keep that. Like Frank said, I could not slide guys by, and he was saying since Ron Hunter got to Tulane, they are making some exceptions for academics for players. Most really good institutions, I would bet Stanford even, they do make exceptions for certain athletes.
Vanderbilt,
I'll bet does too.
Baseball, at the very least, has to. They got the best players in the country in
right.
baseball.
Okay. So they're not doing that at Tulsa. And that's why it's so tough. So he always looked for really smart guys that could play his kind of defense. And if you looked, he was successful because he was always one of the better defensive teams in the league. Now they're just bad.
Well, you talk about how good 5. I mean, the bottom, obviously, there's a huge discrepancy in the top and the bottom. 5 top 100 teams is really good to increase your net ranking. But you were cheering like hell for Nebraska and Ole Miss and Auburn and A&M the rest of the way.
A&M,
they have a lot of good.
Helping us.
They are, and they have a lot of good opportunities the rest of the way in their league, especially Nebraska, who isn't a world beater by any means, but Big Ten is one of the most competitive conferences in the country right now. Certainly one of the top conferences. So those teams winning can help you a lot in the net ranking as well.
Well, it's going to be fun, and they've got a chance because really they will have more opportunities than we originally thought they would in conference play if these nets stay in the same range they are now. We're going to have, besides Brett coming up next, we got an interesting show because Wade Smith, many of you will remember that name. He played for the Tigers in the early 2000s and then went on and was drafted by your team, JMO, Miami.
My second team, I'm a Titans guy. But I claim both,
I thought you claimed Miami because at least they made the playoffs.
Well, that's actually a great point. You know what? You're right. I claim Miami first and Titans second.
That's what I thought. Anyway, Wade Smith had a 12-year run in the National Football League. He's getting inducted into the M Club Hall of Fame with Omar Snead. Remember Omar Snead? The guy had more offensive release points to his shot. You couldn't stop his shot because he'd juggle it around and have these crazy releases, and he was a heck of a scorer. He got in. Drew Martinez in baseball did. A softball player named Leilani Bernardino is in. Soccer had Shelly Hines. Track had Susan King. So all 6 of these folks are getting into the M Club Hall of Fame. But we thought we'd just chat a little bit with Wade Smith. He can go over the playoffs with us, and because he works for the Texans radio network. He's an analyst for them now. So it'll be fun to have Wade Smith on. He will come your way at 10:45. Before we leave, I have to give thoughts and prayers to just another terribly sad story that is going on right now in the city of Memphis. I think sometimes we are all affected by tragedy that occurs in our hometown to people we might not even know. But to the members of Harvest Church and to the members of Windike Country Club, our thoughts, our prayers go out to you. 4 members that were clergy, that were part or at least elders in the church of Harvest Church in Germantown, which I think is pretty well across the street of Windike Country Club or in that neighborhood. 4 of them passed away yesterday. Their lead pastor is in critical condition. We hope that he is able to survive. But thoughts and prayers to all of those families, and in particular, I knew Bill Garner. I know his brother, Russ Garner. They're the ones that own and operate Windike Country Club. Bill was in the golf business with his brother for a short period of time, and he had the calling from the Lord and went into the ministry. I believe he had 7 children. This is such a loss for him, his family, his brother, all of the Windike family. About as nice a guy as you'd want to meet. Always so optimistic. Always, it seemed to me, to have a smile on his face. I saw him, I want to say just like 6 weeks ago, and we talked for a short period of time. Just a wonderful gentleman, and what a loss it is for our community and for all of those that are a part of Harvest Church. So we'll take a break. Brett Norsworthy in studio. Always good to see his smiling face. He joins us here in a second. Speaking of in the Family Leisure Studio, don't forget the floor model sale still going on, and it will all the way through the end of this month, where you'll get the lowest prices of the year on those pool tables, which are just fantastic. Spas, patio furniture, game tables, even the floor model arcades, they start at $1,200. Please get to I-40 and Whidden Road. Go see the good folks at Family Leisure. That's where family and fun come together. We'll come together with Stats Norsworthy. We'll talk SEC. We'll talk the closing of the portal. We'll talk it all in just a minute.
Let former Memphis Tiger Gabe Kuhn and Brett Norsworthy take you home every afternoon with Sports Time on Sports 56. Weekdays from 3 to 6 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Do you want a greener, more weed-free lawn? If you're like me, you can't stand the sight of dandelions, clover, or especially crabgrass. Hi, I'm Brandon Hawley, president of Lawn Solutions. We are your locally owned and operated weed control and fertilization company. We are also experts in disease and insect control on your lawn and landscape. Our uniformed technicians are full-time, year-round licensed and certified by the state of Tennessee. Lawn Solutions' personalized service is far more superior to that of national companies that promise but simply cannot deliver. We return phone calls, we keep appointments, and we want your business. What we will not do is bother you with endless phone calls or junk mail. Lawn Solutions will not sell you something your lawn doesn't need. If you're looking for a local lawn care company to kill your weeds and feed your grass, then Lawn Solutions is the finest. Call us at 867-5626. That's 867-5626. Or go online at lawnsolutionsinc.net. From our family to yours, we want to thank you for your business.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. the rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
It's time to discover new roads in the new year at Gossett Mitsubishi on the Pike. Get ready to blaze new trails in the 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett at $359 a month or buy for just $26,350. Gets 29 MPG highway. Or get ready to take your pick from 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross for just $399 per month. And you'll always get peace of mind in your new ride with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. 2023 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport, $359 per month. 2022 Outlander or 2023 Eclipse Cross, $399 per month. You won't go wrong ever when you shop Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, or shop online at memphismitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Sport PU 00100 MSRP 27100 Outlander NZO 84912 MSRP 32250 Eclipse PC 004373 MSRP 33335 includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695 excludes tax on a license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month. Dealer stock only.
Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing is now currently hiring all positions. If you're ready to take your career to the next level, please apply today. Choate's is offering huge sign-on bonuses to seasoned technicians, plumbers, installers, and air duct cleaners. At Choate's Air Conditioning, Heating, and Plumbing, we offer a career, not just a job, by putting you in a paid training program to develop your technical and customer service skills to best serve our customers. Choate's offers top pay in the Mid-South, weekly pay, paid vacation and holidays, company matching retirement account, health, dental, vision, and life insurance, and Christmas, Thanksgiving, and birthday bonuses. If this sounds like an exciting opportunity for you, then we should talk. So call us at 347-8086 or apply online at choateshvac.com under the careers link. Come, join our family.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
You heard the man. He's right. Homer Skelton Hyundai has been our presenting sponsor, our title sponsor for the last 7-8 years. It's been a while. We're so appreciative of them and what they do for all of you. They First off, have the best product. I love those Hyundais. I think they last forever. And you can pick up one of those new Hyundais now with this incentive. 90 days before you make your first payment. So you can literally go down Highway 70 at Lamar. You get into Mississippi. You turn at the first exit, Craft Road, turn left. Go see Chris True. All that gang has been together for about, 12, 15 years. They understand how to take care of you. And just say, I want the deferment. You pick out any of those new Hyundais, don't worry about paying for 3 months. That's what's going on at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Brett Norsworthy joins us now.
Good morning, Dave.
What's going on in your life? Are you worried that portal may close on your face?
Boy, they're going to slam the door shut.
Yeah.
I thought the portal just constantly was swinging around. I heard y'all's dates that y'all went through, and I think you're right. We got to have some parameter. I like liberation. I like freedom. I like the player having finally some say-so in their life. And what led to it, Dave, is these coaches. These coaches can leave on a whim,
right.
And they finally looked around and said, no rain, no rainbows. Without us, nothing happens.
Don't we really think, though, this is my sense of it, the pendulum swung on all of public opinion, which basically, after a while, snowballs, and it can force things to happen. But when coaches started making $11 million a year and the players were getting nothing, finally that pendulum swung. There was
Common
enough
sense.
pressure.
Just everybody saw that this is nowhere near in the ballpark of fair. So they have this liberation. But now, Dave, there's several common denominators to fandom. The passion, the wanting to win, the heartache, the agony of defeat. But another one's hope. Hope for next year. Hope for next week. Hope for the second half. Hope for down the stretch of a year, and the portal provides it. And it looks like for a lot of teams, the MAC seems to be the answer. A lot of people are getting, this defensive back from the MAC, or this edge rusher, or this slot receiver. Who knew the MAC was the answer to everybody's problems?
Right.
and a lot of people are rating the MAC, but it feels like everybody going out, well, we really didn't want him. You can have him. He's your problem now. Yeah, everybody coming in, sunshine and daffodils.
Well,
Hope.
There's a couple sides to that story. One is really good players, and I'll take the example of Caden Prieskorn. Here's a guy who came to Memphis.
He will help.
He came to Memphis as a backup quarterback, a walk-on. Memphis developed him because you're talking about the MAC schools. Same thing with the MAC schools. They're developing guys, and then it's almost like the minor leagues, right? Oh, wait, this kid's pretty good, and we can probably get him. We'll pay him what we're paying the other SEC guys. They're going to jump for that, and they will.
They will.
And that's what we're seeing there. The other side of it that people don't understand, and I'm not going to name names, but there are several guys that I know that have left programs because it's an easy way for a coach to say, hey, buddy.
It's cuts.
Exactly. I'm not going to say anything, so it's going to look like you want to leave, but we want you to leave.
We've been doing it forever at the end of spring football.
Yeah. And that's why they got that May 1st to May 15th
That's it.
deadline now, or portal opening.
And it's cuts. It's roster cuts. Dave, a long time ago, I think the first time it really jarred me when I saw a title in the SEC of Director of Player Personnel. That's a pro term.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, used to we'd call it Associate Athletic Director in charge of external affairs.
Right.
Have a big
or
title.
at least a recruiting coordinator.
Something.
Yeah.
Something. But there's just no pretense around anymore. And Lane Kiffin has said, we need to adjust to this. This is pro football.
Well, this is what is going to happen.
It is.
I keep saying to you because it's insane what they're doing with the NIL, and I don't think it'll last this way. So what I think is going to
recede. I think the new will wear
I think it's going to go the opposite way, and I'm going to tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
I've said this before, so I don't mean to be redundant, but all these guys are now allowed to have agents, and when you're talking about a guy who's coming from Memphis to Ole Miss for reported $100,000, I mean, that's crazy, right? That's nuts. And you got to sign 5 T-shirts to get the $100,000. Stupid. Well, now what's the income per team going to be in the SEC 2 years from now? $70 million, right? Those agents are going to go, wait a second, man. 100,000 people are coming to see you play. $70 million is what they're getting. We're getting $100,000 for signing some T-shirts? No. We want to share the revenue. We want a percentage of the TV money. We want a percentage of the gate.
In the NBA, they call it BRI, basketball basketball revenue. What's the term in the always?
Is it BRI? It's a revenue stream, right?
Yeah,
but it's a percentage of what
basketball related income.
There you go, basketball related income.
So those guys are going to do it, Dave. I think we're going to get lucky because of Father Time.
We won't see that
in our great parting. Wait till we have a strike.
Oh my gosh!
Wait till we have a player strike.
I hadn't even thought about that. But I have thought the way they're going to have to do it to regulate it, to get that money in revenue stream, a percentage to the players who will have to pay taxes, which the school will do for them. They're going to become employees of the school.
Uh-huh.
I've even talked to EDs about this, and they think that is the eventual.
And somebody's going to have a tax entanglement. Somebody's going to get in trouble.
It's crazy, but it is.
It's changed.
It is what it is, and at least I don't look. I don't mind the freedom.
I don't mind it at all. I love it.
I'll be honest with you. I guess it was Gabe who was asking me about the guys that were leaving and coming in, and some of them don't make sense to me. Like, I know Cameron Jackson and Caden Prescorn. One's going to Florida, one's going to Ole Miss. Those guys are going to be good for the SEC guys.
Asa Martin could help.
Maybe. You see, for me, Asa Martin would be much more productive playing for Memphis than he's going to be if he goes to Florida, too.
Where he's just kind of a situational back.
Yeah, he's going to be a third down back who can catch. That's it. I don't see him anything other than that. Where it's
kind of full circle for him from back to Auburn.
Well, it's his fourth school.
Yeah. Oh, is it 4?
Oh, he started at Miami.
Oh,
Miami, Auburn, Memphis, and now Florida. If that's where
Charlie
he goes.
Moore of college football, isn't he?
Exactly. I saw him finish his career. I think he finished at DePaul, didn't it?
Yeah. Charlie Moore finished last year at Miami, didn't he?
Oh, is it Miami?
Yeah.
That dude, he
got
may
him
have
to Sweet 16
He may have played for more than 4 schools.
To
be honest with you,
he has.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think he was at Miami. I know
He
at
was.
DePaul,
Four
Memphis,
schools.
DePaul, Miami. Where else?
Cal and Kansas.
Look at that. How do you play that many? COVID year.
I know it's private, but just for funsies, I'd love to see his transcript.
Yeah. Well, he never played for Memphis. I take that back. He signed with Josh Pastner. Well, think about that. How long his career was. He signed with Josh.
I heard you talking net rankings.
Yeah.
Well, you got to scroll down a while to get to Josh's.
Whoa, what is it?
It's low. I can't. It's low.
I was worried that he was going to be like Louisville, for the ACC. I thought that they were going to fight for the bottom. Yeah. I love Josh. I hope he's still there. But this could be his final year.
It takes a while to find Tech, Jay Morgan.
Yeah, I'm on Ken Pomeroy's website. He's 145. I mean,
that's good.
Huge home win against Miami, though. That he hasn't won since January 4th, though.
And look, a week ago, everyone crushing John Calipari. These last 2 wins, look what their net rankings done and the improvement made from it. It's soared. And that was a good win last night. That was
Georgia Tech is 163 today.
Yeah.
What is?
How far is too far gone in the net? Have we ever really learned that yet?
If it depends on what conference you're in, I think.
What I'm sure it does.
I don't see how you go past 50, 52, 53 if you're a Power 5 school.
Because I see the SEC schools, and it looks like 6 for sure will be in. I don't know that you can make a case for 7, and even making a case for that 6th could get difficult because for the SEC, Dave, you look at these coaches in it right now compared to, say, 1996, 97 or so when you still had Dale Brown. You had Tubby Smith at Georgia. You had Nolan. You had Rick Pitino. You had Lon Kruger. You had Eddie Fogler was still in the league then. You look at these guys now. I mean, that's a big milquetoast list of coaches, I think.
I looked at this morning. Okay, so in the SEC, Tennessee, Alabama, 2-3, Arkansas, which is now a one-win league team, 1 SEC win.
That's right.
They're at 27. Auburn actually is now 26. Kentucky has moved up to 41. So
they've made the move.
They have made the move, and their overall record is not horrible. It's 12-6.
Right. We know the Tigers beat Auburn. We know they stayed with Alabama at Coleman.
I'll tell you where they're getting helped is A&M. A&M's up to 57. A&M's, if they keep winning, they've won, 6 in a row, 7 in a row?
And if DeMarie Franklin's done nothing else, he was big in that A&M game. That 9 points, Tigers had to have every ounce of that.
They need more of that.
They need more. But for the SEC, I think Alabama can be that Final Four team. Do you really trust Tennessee? Can you really trust them when you have your bracket in your hand to get them all the way to that middle to Houston? Can you, Jay Morgan?
I'm going to do it. I'm going to trust them. And I understand that Rick Barnes can't do it, but my eyes get so big when I see how good they are on defense. Now, I know they can't put the ball in the ocean if they were on a boat.
I'm with you. But then when they lose 52-51 in the second round, check back with me about that defense.
Right. Well,
which is the big case to make is that they might play great defense, but if they're
or worse than that, they run into that team that makes 8 or 9 threes and they get beat 62-51.
There was 8 minutes left in the first half last night. I was watching part of it, and at Mississippi State, you know what the score was? 19-10.
Yeah,
and it was like that for like 4 minutes before they finally scored.
Do you notice Bob Kesselin courtside? I love it. Look, everybody's got their own style, but Bob's still coat and tie at everything. Basketball, football. And,
I love Bob.
And nobody else is doing that anymore.
Well, his coach doesn't even wear a coat and tie. So
no, they don't.
When coaches stop wearing it, that's when I stop wearing it.
And COVID.
And I appreciate John Calipari for that.
Wearing a tie, you might get COVID more than not wearing one.
So I wrote this down. First of all, Memphis has AAC.
Look at Dave in his notes. What have you done to me, Jay Morgan?
AAC has some bad teams.
Yeah, you mentioned two
SMU, ECU, and Tulsa are 214, 215,
they all play each other tonight.
But wait a second. Even Ole Miss, which is terrible, and finally got a win last night.
Well, big win last night.
Wait, they're 109.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like the end of the world with them.
It's not 309.
But look, do you see what South Carolina is? Though finally Ole Miss was able to get a win.
2-something?
Whoa. 269.
Oh, wow.
269.
Closer to 3 than to 2.
That may be the worst net of an SEC team ever.
How did they win at Rupp last week?
I don't know. How did they win at Rupp, and then that same Kentucky team goes to Tennessee, and they play in Thompson Bowling, and they beat the Vols? How does that happen?
8-zip Vols to start, and you're thinking, here comes the big Tennessee blowout of all time over Kentucky at TBA, and then it didn't happen.
All right, so of these teams, and I'll ask both of you this, when you're looking at the teams that are at the top of the standings now, not just the net, Alabama, A&M, Tennessee, and Auburn. Those are the top 4 teams in the standings today in the SEC. Which one do you think has a chance to win a national title? I'm not even going to say that. Go to the Final Four.
Only Alabama.
I think the Vols.
I think the Vols, too, and I'm going to tell you why. Here's the problem with Alabama. They play no defense.
Live and die.
Nate Oates just wants to score. He's like Mike D'Antoni was in the NBA. He goes, just outscore me.
And it always got him. It always got
him. And I agree.
And
that's going to
Nate
get
Oates
them.
2 years ago in that great game against UCLA.
But the NCAA tournament, if you would have asked me, even when I started college, 2013, I would have said absolutely it's going to bite him. But the game in college basketball has changed so much that I'm not sure that he can't win a championship just jacking up shots that way.
It has really changed. And when you get to tournament time, you only need about 7 guys because all those protracted breaks.
Oh, yeah. You get
TV.
5-minute breaks.
Yeah, I mean, you get everything but a cut man and oxygen during all those timeouts.
As always, my friend, you look so Natalie dressed, but you always do. Hope people could see that on all the different things that we have. We got to take a break. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Dinstall's Icy Bread. I only think sweet things, and that's what you get at Dinstall's. I believe we're going to be able to do our Valentine's Day.
It's Dinstall's time of year.
It is. And you know something? I believe in branding. I really do. I think if you're thinking about the best things in the city when it comes to culinary, or it just comes to good times, you think Dinstall's. You think the chocolate-covered strawberries in the summertime. You're thinking Cashew Crunch anytime. Turtlettes, world award-winning fudge. I mean, come on. And 5 places to get it. You got that little place downtown, which is really cool. We got the suburbs, Germantown, Collierville. Then my neck of the woods, Laurelwood. And where they make it, that's on Pleasant View. You can't beat it. It says Memphis in the sweetest way for over 120 years. We're talking Dinstall's. We'll be talking to Wade Smith, the newest of the M Club Hall of Famers. He's had a heck of a career. Maybe we'll pick his brain a little bit on the playoffs, too. He does radio work for the Texans. Wade Smith, former Tiger, is next.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Bartlett Small Engine has been serving quality power equipment since 1970. They have a full line of power equipment, parts, and services for most makes and models. Bartlett Small Engines has the best brands in the power tool industry: Honda mowers, trimmers, and generators, Steel blowers, trimmers, and chainsaws, Echo trimmers, blowers, and chainsaws, plus quality products from Red Mat and Shindawa. And they're all American made. Bartlett Small Engine is your can-do store. 6780 Summer Avenue. Call 901-386-9779.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, everybody. Greg Gaston for FanDuel. Add a little excitement to your sports watching experience by betting on all the action on FanDuel Sportsbook. There's a reason why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Their app is simple to use. They've got great odds on all different betting markets, unique fun bet types like same-game parlays, and exclusive always-on promotions such as enhanced odds boosts on the biggest events to let you get more action out of every game day. And if you win, they even get you your winnings safely in as little as 24 hours. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app to get started, and be sure to sign up with promo code GASMAN so they know I sent you. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, promo code GASMAN. Must be 21 or over and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. $10 first deposit is required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable site credit that expires 14 days after receipt. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call Tennessee Redline at 1-800-889-9789.
Forte PE 573, MSRP 21335, K5 LSX 00991 8857, MSRP 26805. Includes all rebates and incentives. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax, title, and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 2/28/2023 with approved credit. Dealer stock only. Warranties a limited powertrain warranty. See Kia.com or retailer for details.
Hey, Jeff, my man, are you ready to almost give away some new Kias today to start the new year off right at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah?
You bet I am, Randy. How about 41 MPG Highway and your new 2023 Kia Forte LXS, only $254 a month. 36-month lease, $27.99 due at sign.
Hey, Jeff, how about that new K5? That thing's awesome.
We got it at just $319 a month. 36-month lease, $31.99 due at signing. Plus, with all your new Kias, you know you get a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. And if you don't see exactly what you want, I'll order it for you, and you won't pay over MSRP at Gossett Kia on Mount Moriah. So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, you'll be happy at Gossett Kia Mount Moriah.
2680 Mount Moriah or KiaMountMoriah.com.
Now back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
It is such a joy to get to talk with Wade Smith. If you don't remember Wade, he played in the late 90s, early 2000s for the U of M, drafted by the Miami Dolphins in 03, 12 years, 7 teams in the NFL, made the Pro Bowl in 2012, all rookie, and now he is going to be a member of the M Club Hall of Fame. Wade, let me congratulate you there with a guy who's got all these different accolades as you have. What does that mean to you? Good morning.
Good morning to you too, man. Good to talk to you, Wolo. Been a while. Before we get into it, I gotta apologize for my voice. I'm coming off a tournament. My daughter's a volleyball player, and I'm a volleyball dad, so my voice is a little raspy, so forgive me before we get into it. But I tell you what, man.
I hear she's really good. Is she coming to – you're going to send her to Memphis? We could use some help.
So this is the thing. My oldest daughter is going to Mississippi State. Don't hold that against her. She's already committed and signed and all that. She'll be going there in the fall. Now, the daughter's tournament that I was just at, she's uncommitted, and you know, I don't want to say anything that could jeopardize anything with any potential universities, you know, like my own alma mater, but I would just say that she's doing her thing and they won a championship and it was a good weekend. So we'll just leave it at that. I don't want to mess anything up that could potentially happen in the future. But
I got you.
But yeah, man, I'm definitely humbled and honored to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. It was an feeling to get that call and to get the email and get the letter letting me know that, hey, my peers voted me to be part of a prestigious group. So I'm excited about getting back to Memphis and being able to be part of all the festivities.
And if people don't know, of course your kids are going to be great athletes because your wife, Rita Beckwith, if I recall correctly, played for the
That is
Lady
correct.
Tigers Hoops. You guys met here, right?
We did, man. She was a hooper, a great sixth man, and could come off the bench and shoot the three. So they got all their athleticism from her. They got some of the temperament from me, I guess. But I tell you what, man, you're right. It's in their DNA to be good athletes, and we did meet there way back in 2002, I believe it was. And now it's 21 years later, we're still married, and four daughters later, and enjoying life, man.
Wow, that is a great story. You had some athleticism too. Not only were you outstanding on the offensive line, but I think your sophomore year you played some tight end, didn't you?
Yeah, when I signed, Rick Shear was the coach when I was recruited to Memphis, and I was a tight end coming out of Dallas, Texas, out of Lake Highlands High School. My first 2 years, I was a tight end and a fullback at Memphis, and then that was right around the time that the spread offenses started to come into play. And, Coach West was the new head coach, and he was like, hey, Wade, I think you should think about moving positions because the tight end is not going to be utilized as heavily. We're going to be doing 4 and 5 wide sets. And so he was like, you can move the offensive line and be one of the most athletic guys in the draft coming out, or you can move the defensive line and play there as well. But we want you to play. We feel like you're one of our best guys. We got to get you on the field as much as possible. And so I actually went back to, he told me this going into spring break. He told me, think about it over spring break, but make sure you come back. Because my first thought was like, man, I'm my first 2 years I was a tight end, and I played and started. I was like the second tight end in the offense, and Billy Kendall went on to the NFL, and I was like, all right, it's my time to shine, to be the number one guy. And now you're talking about moving me to offensive line. And I went back to my room and talked to my roommate. My roommate was like, his name is Jamon Pugh, who's the starting center then. And he was like, Wade, I'm telling you, if you play offensive line, for one, you're going to love it, but you're also going to be really good at it. And that meant a lot to me at that moment. And came back from spring break, the first practice of spring, went out there, practiced, had a great time at practice. But even the meeting room, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely an offensive lineman. This is my thing. And so the rest is history, man.
No doubt. The best thing Tommy West ever did for you was move you to a position where you ended up being a 12-year guy. I know you're doing some radio with the Texans now in Houston, which was one of the teams that you played with over all the years. What else are you doing these days? Do you follow the Tigers at all?
I do follow the Tigers. I've had conversations with Coach Silverfield. Good guy, man. He's doing good things with the program. It's good to see that since I've left the program, it seemed like, 85, 90% of the year of the seasons they're going to bowl games. They're winning 8, 9, 10 games every year. This year, took a little bit of a step back, but they still won a bowl game. Still ended up with a winning record, and looking forward to see what Ryan can do with those guys next year. But yeah, man, these days I'm doing radio and TV stuff with the Texans, doing it with radio stuff with the flagship station down here in Houston, doing shows and stuff. And so I'm enjoying that. Like I said, volleyball dad, have my foundation that I'm doing a lot of stuff for. It deals with childhood literacy and education. So I'm definitely keeping myself busy, trying to create opportunities for others. There's a lot of people that created opportunities for myself. And so that's my way of kind of giving back for those that, giving back and thanking those that did so much for me.
Do you have a game or two as a collegiate player that you really remember? Do you keep up with any of your teammates?
Wow. So a game that I really remember. There's a good one and there's a bad one. I'll start with the bad one. I'll start with the bad one first. 4th and 27. If you're a Tiger fan, you got to remember 4th and 27.
Gino Guidugli. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Gino Guidugli, Cincinnati. I'll never forget that play that day. We were going to be bowl eligible first time in I don't know how many years. And fortunately for the guys on the team, the majority of those guys went to a bowl game that next season. But I personally didn't get a chance to do that. But I think it was 2 years later they went to New Orleans Bowl.
Right.
But that game I'll never forget. And then one game that I remember a positive thing was I believe it was my junior year. I was playing right tackle, I believe, and we were playing against. I can't remember if it was Army or UAB. There was yellow jerseys, if I can remember correctly. But Jeff Cameron caught a touchdown pass on a tight end screen, and I was like the lead blocker as a offensive lineman. I got a really nice pancake block. And that was like one of those, I love the idea of being able to set the table for somebody else to have success. That's just kind of offensive lineman mentality. Like, hey, I'm going to do the dirty work so that somebody else can eat. And I love that aspect of the game of football. It's the ultimate team sport. And so those are two pretty fond memories. That's a fond memory and a not so fond memory back in my time.
I remember Gino Guidugli. We went a long way from Gino Guidugli to the Cotton Bowl, that's for sure. So anybody you keep up with? Any teammates you're still close to?
Yeah, I mean, I keep up with a lot of guys. I don't know how many people would necessarily recognize and know, but of course, like Marcus Bell and D'Angelo, and those are guys I think that people would recognize. But like Glenn Sumter lives in my neighborhood. His kid plays youth football.
Wow.
Like there's a lot of Memphis Tiger alums that live down here in the Houston area where I'm at. So whether it's trainers, ex-basketball players, like it's a lot of guys that played, and then even younger guys that came after me, like Infetti, some of those guys that went out there to Memphis, but they live here in the Houston area. So you come across those guys, and it's cool to see that that the alumni is strong all over the country.
All right, real quick, since you're doing all this stuff on radio now, tell me who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. We're down to the divisional, so we got the Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Eagles, the Giants, the Bills, and the Bengals. What a game that'll be. The Cowboys and the Niners. Who's going to emerge to play in the Super Bowl and then win it?
So I tell you what, man, the Cincinnati Bengals, to me, they just have a way against Buffalo and the Chiefs. They've just figured out ways to beat those guys. I really feel like Cincinnati's going to go back to the Super Bowl.
Wow!
And I think we're going to have a repeat of back in, I believe it might have been like 86 and 91, I believe. No, it was. I can't remember.
I can remember because I was at the one in Detroit in the Silverdome when Cincinnati played San Francisco. So I know you're going there, right?
Yeah,
and the other one was in Miami, and I'm trying to remember. It was Joe Robbie Stadium. I can't remember the year though. I think it was like maybe it was. Was it in the 90s?
88, 89. So
I think it was before the
early 90s because early 90s was Cowboy time, and I hated it. I was not a Cowboy fan growing up, even though I'm from Dallas, but definitely the black sheep of my family for that aspect. But yeah, I think the 49ers this year, man, they're on a roll. The defense is one of the best in the league. You got Kyle Shanahan on the offense, Willin and Dillon. They have so many weapons with McCaffrey and Deebo Samuel and guys like Ayuk that are getting utilized. And Brock Purdy, man, he's just come out of nowhere.
He's great.
And really has figured out that offense. And so they're going to be tough out. I really love the fact that all of these playoff games are for the most part, very, very competitive. And some games that you thought were going to be blowouts didn't end up being blowouts. And so the NFL has a product that's consistently the best, and it keeps showing that week in and week out. So I'm excited for what happens. But give me the Bengals and the 49ers in the Super Bowl.
All right, who wins that one real quick?
I got to go with the Niners, man. I feel like they should have won.
Brock Purdy be the feel-good story of the year for sure.
Yeah.
Wade?
And it'll be interesting to see what happens after the season is over with because, you still got Trey Lance on the roster. So that'll be
Oh yeah,
interesting how that shakes
I
out.
don't know what they're going to do there. That's and Jimmy G's still there too. So we'll have to figure that one out. Wade Smith, I'm just so happy for you. Give my regards to your wife Rita and your agent Brian Parker for setting all this up. I'm so happy for you. Thank you for spending some time with us today.
All right, man. Appreciate that.
That is Wade Smith, former Tiger and former NFL great. Final segment of the show has been brought to you by the good folks at Old Dominick. You know how much I like Old Dominick. It is a unique place. It is Memphis's hometown distillery right there on Main with really cool tours. You learn, you get educated about how they make all these spirits. Then you can taste those spirits in this very cool bar. Or you could even just go to the bar. But I would at least one time do the tasting so you get to understand how they make the product. It's the best. They got these 2 whiskeys that have just been released by their master distiller, Alex Castle. She never releases a product till it's perfect. I've tried it. Bottle and Bond, sipping whiskey, 2 different things. They're both incredible. That Bottle and Bond, be careful. 100 proof. That's why it's in bond. It's great. It's Old Dominick. Check the after hours bar. Go for the tour, or you can go to any local spirit shop and pick out Old Dominick. That'll do it for us. Johnny Radio's next. Have a great day, everyone.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dave Woloshin here